Hi family, welcome back. Welcome back to Earth Angel Activities, where today I'm going to be doing a book review of this book right here. A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. This was the very first romance novel that I've ever read. I've never read a romance. As a matter of fact, when I did go on Book Talk, because my daughter told me about Book Talk, and I learned about Book Talk maybe about a month ago or whatever, and YouTube Talk, no, it's called Book Bookish, no, BookTube. I've only recently found this community, and I was so excited to find it. But let me digress for a moment to say that I was really surprised at how much drama is going on in this scene. How much drama. So anyway, I'm gonna come back later and do another video about, well, I'm not even gonna say it in this video because it already start the drama, and I'm not here for it. I just want to add a loving insert to the conversation, okay? But anyway, this book, I cannot talk about this book. These are two books. These are two other books that I've started. Oh my gosh. One of them is like a chore to read because it's not punctuated well. I don't like books that are not heavily punctuated. I don't. I love heavy punctuation. I want to be able to hear the author's cadence when I'm reading. I want to hear the way the author tells the story. I want to hear the author's cadence, the author's song. I want to hear that. That's important to me. And I can't hear it without a comma, an M dash, a dash, a dot, dot, dot. I need something. Okay? Don't just leave it a run-on sentence. But, okay. I digress. A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. First of all, let me tell you how these books come about, all right? So I went to the bookstore because I really had the inkling to read If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. It just kept coming up in my mind. Every time I would think about reading a book, I would think about wanting to read this book for some reason. Right? So when I go to the bookstore, they didn't have this book. I had to order it, okay? So in the meantime, in between time, one of the lady at the bookstore, which I love so much, she is so sweet. I just love when I get to see her. But I try not to always ask her for stuff because I don't want to be that customer, But she was like, I think that you might like this. She was like, it's a romance, though. And when she said romance, I was like, I don't want to turn down the recommendation because she has yet to steer me wrong, So I was just like, oh my gosh, a romance. Oh my gosh. I'm more of a girly who likes, and she knows this about me, I'm more of a girly who likes magic and mystery and fantasy. I want something that is unrealistic. I want something that really just makes me think wild things. That's really what I was hoping for. Okay, this book, I don't know how this woman managed to do it, but she did. She included so much magic and mystery and just so much. It's well written. It's beautiful character dynamic, and I actually ended up loving it. I did. But I'm going to be honest. The first half of the book, I was just like, oh my gosh, I do not want to read this crap. I do not want to see this woman fall in love with this stranger. I do not. And that's why I hate romance books, because I'm just like, the romance never feels earned to me, and it just makes me feel like, oh, no. I don't want to read this, and so about halfway through, I started feeling like that, but this book came in. If Beale Street Could Talk, okay? So then I read If Beale Street Could Talk, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I thought it was crazy because both books were set in Harlem, and the fact that James Baldwin was born in the 1920s, and then this book right here flashes back and forth between the 1920s and then 2024. I was just like, oh my gosh. I have chill bumps right now as I say it, but this was divine alignment for these two books. And it was perfect that I read these two books the way that I did, that I started this book and I got tired of it because I'm not a romance girly. But I know if you are a romance girly, you are going to love this book because I loved it and I am not a romance girly. But the way that I was spiritually guided to read was perfect because halfway through, I was over it. I put the book down. I read this. I cried. I boo-hooed. And then I picked this book back up. And when I did that, it just felt like such a second chance for Fonnie and Tish. Like, these characters right here just became Fonnie and Tish to me. I'm sorry. After I read, because I read it in the middle, it was like this book was what I needed. It was the book sandwich that I needed. It was the book sandwich that I needed in my life, okay? I loved it, okay? I loved it. I needed it. When I came back to it, I'm not telling you anything. I will not spoil this book. I will not spoil this book. I will not. I won't. But I am going to tell you this. I loved it. So, as always, I have written down a few things, and I won't bore you with all of the things. But this book made me laugh. This book, Tia Williams, she made me laugh, like real laughter. Real laughter. I really enjoyed reading this book. I think that I was just over the romance aspect of it. I was over it because... yeah, I was just over it. I'm not a romance person. But because of this, because I love the way she wrote, because I loved the way that her prose were formed, I could hear her voice is distinctive from any other author's voice, and it should be. She wasn't afraid to punctuate. Girly, thank you, Tia. Okay, I love a woman who's not afraid to punctuate. I'm now going to go read another book by Tia Williams because I loved her writing style so much in this. And the jokes did hit for me. But then again, like, she was writing in an area that I'm familiar with. So, not as far as romance, but the characters. And so it was something, 114. I wanted to tell you about 114. This was funny. This was Ricki, the main character, her friend, and an older lady. Okay, they're all sitting around having a chit chat, right? But the older lady, she's not really involved in the conversation, but she's really she doesn't want to be left out. And Tia describes this well. So let me tell you, I want to read this right. Because this tickled me. Like, I remember just being tickled. My daughter didn't read it with me, but when I read this part to her, she was tickled by it as well. So, okay. Let's see here. Where do I begin? Tuesday, her Yankees brim pulled super low, shielding her recognizable face. Do you identify as Beyonce or Rihanna? Controversial question, Ricki remarked. In terms of what exactly? Business personas. Okay, now I'm gonna skip. Which one is from Texas? Asked Miss Della, tapping her manicure on her cup. Even if she wasn't certain who was who, she disliked being excluded from pop culture conversation. Beyonce, responded Ricki on Tuesday. No, I like the other one better. The next table over, two women wearing identical knotless braids whipped their heads around to glare at Miss Della. When they saw that she was an elder, they smiled respectfully and returned to their omelets. So I'm going to skip down. She says, now that girl's a businesswoman, continued Miss Della. A hard-working young lady who saved waitress tips to open her own Creole restaurant. A shame she had to kiss a frog to land that handsome Arabian fella, but no one said it'd be easy. Ricki glanced at Tuesday, who was pursing her lips to stifle the giggles. Miss Della, that's not Rihanna. That's Tiana. Ah! Who? Ricki raised her voice a bit. Princess Tiana, ma'am. The Disney heroine? Well, I can't keep up now. I'm sorry. She wrote that so good, man. It tickled me so hard. It tickled me so hard. I skipped a few things, so you would have to read it. But considering the fact that I am an old soul myself, and I sit around old people all the time, elderly people. Well, oh my gosh, I don't anymore, really. But when you have them, you will never forget them. Like, being around elderly people, man, it's just something. She hit it on the head. Tia Williams, she has definitely sat around some elderly folk. She has, because she hit that on the head for me. But all of her jokes connected like that for me. I just was tickled. It was a joy to read. It was a fun read, I'm going to say. It was a fun read. As soon as I got over my discomfort of the book being a romance, I was able to embrace it for what it was, which was just a really good, well-written book. And it had so many aspects in the book that didn't hit just like a regular. It had magic. So I love this book, and I'm recommending this book to you. If you do read it, let me know. All right. So this is Miss Tia Williams. And also recommend me books. I want to know what you guys are reading. You know, I don't read just novels. I read a lot of reference books. My favorite purchase of last year was a $3 biology book that I thrifted from an old bookstore. That was my top, okay? But anyway, let me know. If you do read this book, let me know. And let me know what you think of it. All right? So, until next time, family, continue to vibrate love and vibrate well. Peace.